Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Ramani, and welcome back not only to my YouTube channel, but this series that are sort of like a handbook of narcissistic terms that are relevant to narcissistic abuse, and just understanding narcissistic relationships in general. There's a lot of words floating out there in sort of the narcissism internet space of people talking about them, blogging about them. And I wanted to create a series that creates not only clarity about these terms, defining them and giving examples, but also shining a light on techniques that may work for you in some cases, or ways that you can sort of be stronger in the face of some of these patterns. Today, we're going to take on the issue of baiting. And before I begin, I'm always going to ask, please hit the bell and subscribe to this channel, because not only will you get notifications each time a new episode in this series comes out, you'll also get notifications about the videos we put out every week, as well as any other special series and live events we're doing. So let's talk now about baiting. So when we think about baiting, let's think about someone who is finally understanding the narcissistic story, the narcissistic narrative or relationship that they are stuck in. The person decides to disengage, or they don't fall for the love bombing part 10, or don't succumb to the hoovering. And I'll be talking about all these terms in this series. A narcissist is actually on a sort of single-minded struggle to have one thing in a relationship, and that's power. They had the power when they love bombed you. They have the power when they discard you. They have the power when they manipulate you. And they have the power when they gaslight you. It's very much a primary driver in the narcissistic dynamic, the drive for power. So, because we don't like power imbalances, you might watch these videos and try to take the power back, and you don't engage, and you don't react, and you don't explain. And then what happens? Always the narcissist will switch up their tactics, and they're going to start poking at you and jabbing at you. They may do something like make fun of a physical quality that you're insecure about. Oh, yikes, that dress got a little bit tight. Or look, your sister picked another loser. Or how interesting that your boss didn't get your evaluation back yet. That may not be very good. They may say these cruel and dismissive and unsupportive things. They may start accusing you of things that aren't even true. They accuse you of cheating or stealing. They're trying to get to you. Just when you set those boundaries down, they try to get to you. And it's a normal human instinct to react when you are provoked, especially when someone's accusing you of something, especially something that you haven't done. But when someone is criticizing you about things that you may be particularly anxious about, or may say hurtful things about people you care about. In fact, that's often how a narcissist gets to you. Maybe not even going at you, but going after the people you care about. You may have even learned in trying to manage your narcissist to keep quiet when they insult you, but you can't keep quiet when they start going after the people that you care about. And if you do not understand the narcissistic relationship dynamic, then you may have, and I almost guarantee you will have, a really strongly emotional reaction to them. You may raise your voice. You may cry. You may yell. You may get really agitated. It's going to be very clear that you are upset. You may even look a little bit unhinged. And then the narcissist steps back with a look of very glib satisfaction.
Molecular level
And uses this as the perfect entry point to gaslight you. What's the matter with you? You look like you're totally out of control. You're crazy. You must have some kind of mental problems. You need to calm down. You're too sensitive. You know the drill well. They'll say it with this very even voice just when you became reactive. And you literally will believe them and start to feel like there's something wrong with you. You get so angry at yourself for reacting because you know better. And now, you know what you just did? Sadly, you just delivered them a different kind of narcissistic supply. You left the narcissist feeling superior because now the narcissist is calm as can be while you're all kinds of emotionally frothed up, which, please let me normalize that for you. It's a totally appropriate and normal reaction on your part to someone saying terrible things to you. Normally, we react. But the narcissist, they're almost like they're relieved or they get off in the power on getting the upper hand by being non emotional, calling you out, and then walking away. This whole sequence is called baiting. Baiting is a very common narcissistic technique that often blindsides people. Baiting involves the narcissist sort of engaging in behavior that's designed to provoke an emotional reaction from you. And it tends to be an escalating process. They will keep pushing the envelope, they will keep pushing the cruelty of the things that they say until they get an adequate rise out of you, until they're satisfied that they rattled you enough. So let me give you an example. Here's what a let me give you an example. Here's what a baiting sequence can look like. So let's just say you're getting a little bit more wise to your narcissist. So you're doing all the things you're supposed to do. You're limiting your engagement and you're generally becoming more distant. Or let's just say your narcissist discarded you. And now your narcissist is trying to suck you back in. They're trying to hoover you. And yeah, you're not even actually that interested this time around. At that point, the narcissist may reach out. You've kind of discarded them or they've discarded you, whatever, they might reach out. If that doesn't work, trying to pull you back in, they might ask you more pointed questions. If that doesn't work, they may start calling you out for being a jerk or start cursing at you or calling you names. Then they may double down and comment on something that makes you anxious, something that they know about you, that they know will set you off. And here's where a narcissist's behavior can be so atrocious because nothing is sacred. You've probably shared your vulnerabilities with them and they know them. So they may go after whatever your thing is, your appearance, your family, your children, maybe a medical condition you may have. And at this point, they may also start hurling all kinds of accusations at you. And this may even be sort of bizarre stuff from left field. Like they might say something like, oh, so I guess you must be a gold digger and replace me with a rich guy, which is going to be news to you because that's not true. Or they'll say, I get it. I get it. You're just too good for your family. You're ashamed of us and who we are and what we stand for. So you decided to go around town passing rumors about your pitiful family. You're like, huh? So now you're almost blinded by the gaslighting. It's like being in some sort of carnival house of mirrors. You don't know which way to turn. But let's say you still keep your cool in the face of this. Now they may double down again with threats. So, how would you feel about me telling your boss what you really think of him? Or something like, should I tell your sister about should I tell your sister that I know about that STD you told me she got? Or it's a veiled threat. You know what I know. Sure would be a shame to share it with the world. And you know what? Even if you go after me for saying something, the world's already going to know. They are very good at throwing those threats out there, and it can be really unsettling. And this is the point when most people break. and they succumb and they get back in touch with the narcissist. If you didn't break earlier in this process, right? If you were in an intimate relationship with someone, the odds are that you did share confidences with them and you did share them with trusted information, and they may actually have some proverbial dirt on you. So you agree to talk to them, even though you had set a boundary and didn't want to talk and didn't want to fall for the baiting. You agree to talk. And you know what? And I can guarantee you, trust me on this one, the narcissist can smell your fear. Once you are back at the table, it tends to be business as usual, invalidation. And basically, once their baiting works, they'll look at you with contempt, with a stance of, how dare you think you could avoid me? Now, at the most extreme, if you really don't crack under any of their baiting, baiting can even result and keep kind of escalating into them doing things like filing frivolous lawsuits against you. And that might then force your hand to take on the cost of a lawyer, or going back to court and asking for more custody, and that starting that entire process again, or just pushing for investigations. These sorts of things can be costly, they can be time consuming, they can be anxiety provoking. Now, not all baiting goes this deep or this dark. In most cases, when you're in any kind of a narcissistic relationship, baiting often takes the form of simply being provoked or getting provoked by them and giving in to their provocation with a strong emotional reaction.
Is your money still hoping to make more money?
Now, baiting gives any kind of narcissistic, difficult, toxic people a sense of power. You becoming unhinged is a source of power and narcissistic supply for them. Again, it sort of fosters their cold sense of superiority. But keep in mind, that is just so they can feel in control again. Because you got to remember, they're very insecure. So when anyone starts pulling away from the narcissistic person or a very toxic person, they don't like the loss of control that comes from someone else calling the shots, and that comes from losing that narcissistic supply that they were accustomed to getting. So the idea that they can get it back through bullying and manipulation and intimidation and all of that, that's really a core of baiting, to maintain that sense of control. Now, baiting can take lots of forms. There's lots of things that narcissistic, difficult people can do. They can push your buttons. They can be cruel about sensitive issues. They can say unkind things about important people in your life. They can make bizarre kinds of accusations about your behavior, such as, I don't know, infidelity, or make bizarre accusations about theft. They may make underhand, sort of passive aggressive comments, or they may just do anything that they know that, then this is after years of studying you and learning you and getting to know you, that they know will upset you. And it raises that sort of paradoxical and interesting point. Narcissists actually don't fully lack empathy, and they sure as heck don't lack awareness of other people. They actually really clearly learn and recognize the vulnerabilities of other people. They just exploit them instead of protecting them. It's sort of the opposite of empathy, knowing what someone's vulnerable to and using it to hurt them. A good defense, though, against baiting is to know that it's coming. It is the dark side of what happens when you do no contact or gray rock, things that are also talked about in this series. Because a narcissist cannot tolerate being ignored, they will bait to draw you out, to get your attention, and then keep ratcheting it up. Knowing that it's coming can make it feel less scary. And also, as you feel their baiting getting ratcheted up, it is important to get advisors on deck, people on your team who you may or may not need. But this may include things like attorneys or other advisors you can turn to for guidance or punt this whole mess to. Narcissists almost always use chaos to their advantage. And under pressure, when you're drawn into that chaos, it's harder to get things organized, like getting advisors on board. So that begs the question, why do narcissists engage in baiting? Well, first of all, they love a fight. They are much better at fighting and at antagonism than the rest of us. It's almost like they're always uncomfortable, so they always want to they want to punch and fight. They are also triangulators, and they are experts at exploiting chaos for their advantage. Now, once they bait and you go for the bait, they are able to use your anger and other emotions that you express to their advantage. The narcissist's sort of limited empathy also means that they don't stop to think about how they're hurting you, if they're hurting you. In fact, in some ways, they kind of hope they are because it's going to get the rise out of you. And because they lack what we call self reflective capacity, they can't stop and think, how is my behavior affecting someone else? They lack awareness of how their baiting is experienced by other people like you. So, baiting in some ways is a way of projecting and of externalizing their inner battles and throwing them onto the world at large, especially those closest to them. But when it's all said and done, something I've said before, the narcissist is a petty tyrant and a spoiled child that is angry that someone is getting the best of them. They have to win. Narcissists have to win. And it can be hard to hold on to your commitment to no contact. But it is really important you do so, whatever it is, no contact or boundaries or whatever. If their baiting works and you do find yourself pulled back in, go back to gray rocking, go back to being the robot and keeping the emotion out of your reactions. They're counting on you becoming all kinds of hysterical. Don't deliver that to them. It is really important that you stay as cool headed as possible. And I know that's really hard. When somebody's really getting to you, it's very hard to do that. But once they've stepped away, once they've disappeared, the moment you're alone, cry and yell it out. Just don't let them see it. Don't give them that satisfaction. One question that many have asked me is, do they ever stop baiting? Over time, in most cases, yeah, they do. At some point, they're going to find new sources of narcissistic supply. And frankly, they may just get bored with you. They just sort of they fling you away like a child toy that they don't want anymore. But that's not always the case. If your situation escalates to the point to threats that are dangerous or actions that are dangerous, please contact law enforcement or other appropriate agencies. And also ensure that you speak to some form of legal advisor. Baiting is one of those patterns that in some small percentage of cases can escalate. Now, in most cases, baiting does not happen at that level. Baiting really is a form of poking at you to get a reaction out of you. And if you can remember that if you react in an emotional way, you are giving them what they want. And if you remember that, it may help you temper your response and make you say, I don't want to give them what they want. Over time, baiting can and will take a toll on you. So you need to make sure that you have supports in place to take care of you, to talk to, and also learn to take care of yourself. Years of enduring this pattern of baiting can really take a toll on your mental and physical health. And some people will say they often find it hard to even find someone to talk to who understands this pattern. Even some therapists who may not understand baiting and narcissistic relationships may not understand this. And it can really be destabilizing to feel like you're talking to people and they're saying, you're being paranoid. So remember, it's very important you find those people, you find your people that hear you and believe you and can bear witness to the struggle you're in. I hope that this video clarified this concept of baiting, the narcissists poking at you. It's a terrible cycle, and if you've been through it, you know it. If you haven't, I hope it doesn't happen to you, but you need to be aware it may very well happen to you, whether it's a family relationship, a work relationship, or an intimate relationship. Baiting is one of many things we'll be talking about in this series, a sort of handbook of narcissistic terms. I hope this was useful. And as always, please hit the bell and subscribe to this channel. You'll get notifications not only about every video in this series as they come out, but of all the content we put out on a regular basis, our live events, and any other special series. Thanks again for tuning in.
That does it for this stream. I'm going to come back, I think in about 20 minutes, and then I'm going to share a video that Renee Everyday did that I thought was excellent yesterday, and she's allowing me to share it, so I'm so going to do that. And then a question. So I have a lot of really awesome women in here in the chat at the moment, and we've been mentioning it in the whatever texty thingies. If I was to do a live stream after the Renee one, after I share Renee's video and then set up a live stream, give everybody a little bit to get themselves together, would you girls want to come back and do kind of a girls only panel to discuss, you know, flying monkeys or baiting or whatever? I think we could probably do it without saying names. I think we can just discuss the behavior and really get down and dirty. I know a lot about this. I do have one of those malignant narcissists in my life. I have had one that stalks me for years now, literally decades now. I've been through this rodeo several times. Anyway, so if you guys think you might be up to that, what would be, let's see, I've got that one coming up at 10:15. And your video is not too long. If I set it up for 11 o'clock my time, which it's 10 o'clock now, so in an hour. And would that be, yeah, I'd like to keep it just females at first. I don't know, Phoenix, I'm glad you're here. So it's good. I don't think I've met you yet. Maybe I'm not good with, you don't show up a lot, I forget. But yeah, if you know anybody else, wink, wink, know what I mean? Nudge, nudge. 1 hour. Come back here. Don't forget to pop back in here in 15 minutes. Go piss, get some tea, pack your ball. Come back in 15 minutes and come chill out and listen to what Renee has to say. She has a great article that she reads. So beautiful. And exactly what everybody needs to hear right now. Oh, Miss Word, yes, hey, yay, I know who you are now. Okay, so, and then we'll do a live stream at 11, and if you know anybody else, invite all your friends. I'll set that one up here in just a second, and then I'll see y'all back here in 15 minutes for Renee, her video. All right, love you guys, bye. Oh, I'll leave with my anthem video, just for anybody who's this is a video I made. Kind of, it's mine. It tells my story in a very, I think, absolutely glamorous way. So I'll play that as we leave, and then I'll see y'all in a few minutes. Bye.
Do you hear me? I hear you! I'm alive! May God forgive your blasphemy. For I never will. I never will!
Sweetness, I was only joking when I said I'd like to your hand. Oh, sweetness, sweetness, I was only joking when I said by right you should be bludgeoned in your bed. And now I know how Joan of Arc felt. Now I know how Joan of Arc felt. As the flames rose to a Roman nose and her Walkman started to melt. Big Mac,